Let's erase what we've drawn so far. Pick in the open space down below. Drag your cursor to create a window around the objects we want to erase. Click again, and you notice the objects are highlighted. Hit the delete key. A very quick way for erasing objects. Now let's try to draw something simple to test out a few of the status bar toggles and the dynamic input. The grid itself, these lines drawn on the screen. We can set the distance by right-clicking on the snap mode, go to snap settings, and under the grid, we can see it set for every ½ inch, with a major line every 5 lines. I'm just going to OK. So you can see that there's a major line every 5 lines, and then each of these little lines is a ½ inch. Now the grid doesn't actually control the cursor movement, it's only a guide. It doesn't even plot out on paper. Let's turn it off for now. And let's go up to draw a line. Notice the cursor readout for dynamic input. If yours is not visible, use the function 12 key on your keyboard. Pressing it toggles it off and on. We want you to have it on for now. As you move the cursor, the coordinate readout tells you where along the X and Y axis your cursor is. So you can see it down on the status bar and at your cursor. AutoCAD uses the Cartesian coordinate system to record locations in the drawing area. Basically, it consists of the two axes, X and Y, which intersect each other at the point 0, 0, called the origin point, and is used to define the position of any point by using X and Y distances from the origin location. Now, notice how the cursor is moving. The dynamic input shows 4 decimal points moving all at once. Very hard to locate a point on the drawing. Hit Escape, turn our snap on, go up to the line command again, move your cursor near the middle of the screen, and you can see now, even though there's 4 decimal points, it's only moving a ½ inch at a time. So this is how you can see the difference between grid, which doesn't control the cursor, and snap, which we refer to as increment snap, controls the cursor moving at set increments that we will be able to adjust. So pick in the center of the screen and move your cursor. Now, obviously, when your line is on an angle, you get more coordinate readout, but when you go into the x-axis, every ½ inch, and when on the y-axis, every ½ inch. If you look back on the command line, you can see that it's telling you to specify the next point. Also notice that the line extends to the cursor point as we move it, while the first pick point is stationary. This is referred to as rubber banding. Now, as you can see, the lines are moving at any angle. Go down and turn on ortho mode. Now look what it's doing to the cursor, forcing it to go only in the x-axis or y-axis. Let's turn on polar. You can't have both ortho and polar. Each one toggles on and off when you turn the other one on. What polar will do is control the line so it goes on particular angles. To set the angle, either right-click on the polar toggle or click the down arrow. You can see that there's set increments 5, 10, 15, 90. We have ours set to 45. Make sure you click on 45. And just click back on that arrow again to close it. And now what will happen is that when we move the cursor near the 45-degree mark, it will extend out a green line and lock at the 45. But we can move it again, moves off, but when we get into another angle, that's an increment of 45, it locks again. So 90, 135, 180, and so on. Move your cursor straight along the x-axis for 4 units. Now you notice how it's pretty small. Let's do our zoom with our wheel mouse to get a little closer so we can see it a little clearer. So it makes it a little easier as we're working on the drawing. Click the left mouse button to lock the second point. Now move your cursor away, and as you can see, it would start to draw another line connected to the last line. Right click, brings up the context menu, press enter, exits the command, and leaves the line drawn. The last toggle button to review at this time is the Object Snap toggle. This is one of the most important options to get used to, as you'll use this often. Simply put, when the object snaps are active during drawing or modifying, the cursor will snap to preset locations on an existing object that you hover over. Make sure that the object snap is turned on, showing blue. As you can see, it's on now. I pick on it, it's gray. Pick on it again, it's on. So we want it to be on. Start the line command again. Move your cursor over the line you just drew. Notice how a green box appears. That's the endpoint object snap. When you come near the line, you don't have to be on the end. It will automatically snap to the end. When you're past the halfway point, it snaps on one end of the line. If you pass the halfway point on the other end, it snaps on the other end of the line. Just click to accept the endpoint, and you can see that the line has started again at the end of the line. Object snaps will be discussed in more detail later, but I bet you can already see the usefulness. There's no need to save this drawing as it is only practice. Just right click, press enter. That's it for the more common methods of entering commands. It's time for you to review the AutoCAD screen before moving on to setting up a new drawing, which is the first step in the creation of a complete drawing. I would suggest journaling in point form the key elements in this video. The act will help you commit the procedure to memory.